Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Hopefully, I have everything set up okay. It's like as soon as you think that you do, then you realize that you don't. All right. I'm just going to give it a couple of moments to see who comes into the chat room, into the live. It usually takes a few moments for YouTube to send out its notifications. And finally, after making this well over 45 minutes ago, I'm going to go ahead and have my cold masala chai, but that's okay. You learn as you go that most of the time, life is not going to show up the way you planned for it to show up. And it's okay. You learn, you learn, you learn. So lukewarm masala chai is better than no masala chai. So welcome everyone. Welcome Samad. Welcome Jesse. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's bring in the chime. So I'd like to welcome everyone today. We had a wonderful 4-day weekend here in the States. And we are ready for a brand new week. Let me just get some flute music. I always like to have a little bit of flute music in the background. Okay. Let's take a nice deep centering breath to welcome us into this sacred space. And I just realized that I light my incense. No, I didn't, so let me do that. I'm not sure if this is Nag Champa. Oh, this is the Ayurvedic. This is some Ayurvedic incense. I know you can't smell it, but it's the thought that counts, right? All right. So let's welcome us into this sacred space. Take a nice deep centering breath. Okay, peace, peace, great peace. All right, let me just make sure that I have the volume off so we won't be disturbed. How is everyone today? How is everyone? So I brought back, you know how I love my cards. I love cards. I love symbols and signs. It's a beautiful form of communication. So this is a very beautiful card, and this card goes along with our hexagram reading for today. This card, let me get out the deck box for you. This is one of the cards from the Wisdom Keepers Oracle deck and inner guidebook. So this is the Wisdom Keepers. This is by Dr. Rose Aronson. I believe she is a psychotherapist. And it's the 64 Faces of Awakening. And these 64 Faces of Awakening, there is a program, I can't remember the name of the gentleman, but it's a program called the 64 Keys. And it's basically, from what I gather, it is a modern 21st century reinterpretation, reintuited I Ching. Basically, that's what it is. It goes along with the I Ching. So we are looking at card number 22, graciousness. And graciousness goes along with I Ching hexagram number 22, grace. And the keywords are adornment, bring out beauty, elegance, the outer as a reflection of the inner vanity, charisma, and self-expression. So let's put those two side by side, and we will start with the Wisdom Keeper's Inner Guidebook. And we are on number 22. Not sure if you're going to be able to see that, but we'll give it a try. You know, I'm playing around with my new camera setup here. Okay, well, I'm going to have to hold this a little bit closer. Let's see to see it. Graciousness means that you act with grace and consideration in everything that you do. The gift is graciousness. The shadow is dishonor. The city is grace. And this is by Richard Rudd. So her wisdom story. I was born into a well-respected family that cared a great deal about its reputation. But beneath the veneer, there was terrible dysfunction. When my body began to change into a beautiful young woman's body, an admired family member abused me sexually. I felt too afraid and ashamed to tell anyone what was happening. Instead, I tried desperately not to feel. Whenever a forbidden feeling arose in my heart, I throw myself on the floor and pray that God would make me good and pious. Because I showed such unusual religious fervor for a young girl, I was sent to a secluded monastery to live a modest life of study and prayer. Relieved to be in a safe space, I gladly renounced all material things. To all at the monastery, I was a proper, calm, and balanced woman, and a keen listener. But on the inside, I often seethed with inappropriate feelings that I couldn't bear to accept, much less express. I distrusted my pain, rejected my beauty, hated my needs, and judged my desire. I couldn't say no to requests for support, even when I was sick. I felt disgusted at even the tiniest bit of passion, anger, or sexual feelings within me. One day, during a prayer group, a sister bravely shared about an experience of having been raped as a child. In the midst of her sharing, my body was hit by a tidal wave of memories, humiliation, and shame. Instead of looking up to God and praying for the feelings to go away, I buried my head in my hands and sobbed. For the first time in my life, I shared about what had happened to me. I hid nothing from anyone, not even myself. As the pain, shame, and loneliness of my past erupted out of my throat, I felt a kind of light love descend into my chest, one I'd never experienced in all of my days of prayer. And when I opened my eyes, I was met with such love, compassion, respect that it felt like the entire cosmos was singing. Now I regard myself as deeply as I regard others. I no longer need to hide my beauty, dishonor my boundaries, or withhold my feelings to engage graciously with the world. So I'm going to take a moment and allow that to set in. with these beautiful pictures, with these beautiful images, these beautiful faces of, you know, their 64 faces of awakening. They're all of our faces. We are each and every one of these people depicted in the cards. You know, we all want to be seen. We all want to be recognized. We all want to be validated and appreciated. The stories are not always roses and fairy angels, you know. They're the stories of life. How many of us, if any of us ourselves, have found ourselves to be in a place of having been molested or emotionally abused? A great many people decide to keep it to themselves because of shame, because of fear. You know, there's some cultures where if a young woman has been molested or raped, she can be stoned to death. It's not just a dishonor against her, it's a dishonor against the entire family. And then she's, you know, rejected. And even those of us in the West, in Western worlds, who have had the misfortune of being molested as children or even as teenagers, adolescents, young adults, there's shame that goes along with that. And, you know, we find ourselves in a position of being fearful to share. And those emotions, because they're not faced, they get buried. It destroys relationships. It destroys our trust in even ourselves. One of the things in the story just now that sort of struck me is how she, after hearing about a fellow nun in her monastery who had, you know, been abused as a child, and finally she herself was able to face her emotions. You know, she cried, she buried her face in her hands, and crying, you know, the salt of our tears is connected to the amniotic fluid in our mother's womb. And if you remember from one of my previous videos where I chatted with Dr. Mauro Zapatera, who's an MD and also a craniosacral therapy worker as myself, the amniotic fluid in our mother's womb is like a minuscule connection to the primordial waters, to the ocean. And you know, as they say, all life comes from the ocean. And being able to allow ourselves to cry tears, to feel those emotions, and to allow those cleansing tears to come out, they can be very healing. So if you yourself have gone through a very difficult time in your life, whether, you know, it's been molestation or rape, any type of abuse, even emotional abuse through others or even through yourself, allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to feel those emotions. You know, a lot of people feel that, you know, if you're on a spiritual path, if you're a meditator, etc., that you shouldn't, you know, feel emotions. You should feel calm. You should feel perfect at every time because you know it's all temporary. It's not true. We're human beings. And from my understanding, at least, we are in this life to learn lessons. And part of being human is the emotions that we have. There's anger. There's even hatred sometimes. There's rage. There's joy. There's happiness. There's elation. I think the most important thing is to realize that we are not our emotions, but our emotions and expressing them and allowing them to be can be very healing. Now, of course, holding on to anger and holding on to hatred is not a good thing, but there are times when it is good to allow those emotions to come out and to go through you, to do what they need to do. For instance, if someone is in an abusive relationship or situation or find themselves in, and if they keep burying the thoughts and choosing to just keep smiling through all of that, no, there's a moment where getting angry can be a good thing, because that anger can be an impetus to get you to move through and do what you need to do to save yourself, to save your children, to help a friend. So I look at this graciousness card to remind us that, life ain't always going to be a crystal stairs. It's not always going to smell like a bed of roses. And it's okay. It's okay to feel, to express, because it is through the grace of being able to express your emotions and move through them that you're able to heal. And remember, I shared a teaching from my sensei. Remember I shared about my own very dark night of the soul that I went through about 8 years ago when I first began my Buddhist ministerial training, and had asked my sensei, who at the time was a retired psychology professor as well as an ordained Buddhist minister, what can you help me? What scripture, Buddhist scripture, can you share with me that can help me to move through these emotions? Because I was tired of anger and upset welling up inside of me. And what he shared with me was, as I mentioned before, the Japanese word for crisis is created by 2 kanji. And the first part of the kanji is danger. That's the ideogram, the pictograph of the Japanese word. And the second part of the kanji is opportunity. And moving through our emotions, moving through all of that and allowing them to flow, we're able to experience those moments of grace. We're able to experience those moments of, yes, we're in danger. We were in danger. Now there's an opportunity to choose something new and to move forward. And so that's the message that I see with graciousness. So there you go. I hope that spoke to you as much as it did me. And let me take another sip of my lukewarm, semi-cold masala chai. It's definitely cold, but that's okay. I'll heat it up later. Okay, so we are on hexagram number 22. Can we all see that? There we go. Hexagram number 22. Now, all right, let me put my glasses on because I can't see how well it's showing up. And I need to get a spray for these glasses. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those beautiful blue colors. The blues and the pinks. They look like lotus blossoms. Lotus blossoms like on a pond. Oh, there we go. We got a good image right there. How's that, everyone? And welcome Aqua and welcome CB. So there we go. Grace, 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 grace. It looks like, if I'm not mistaken, I see the lower hexagram. That's definitely fire. And I believe the upper hexagram is mountain. Let me see. I'm not sure. But we're going to find out. So number 22. And we are looking in B.MSc translation. I was right. Mountain. Okay. So I'm working with a new microphone today. Let me know how the volume is. All right, so we are looking at hexagram number 22. Look at the beautiful bone seal script. This is the ancient way of writing hexagram number 22. Isn't that beautiful? So Benebell Wind translates it as luminosity, beauty, and grace. And we have fire as the lower bagua. Oh, hold on one second. Sorry about that. Just wanted to have my phone up. And I see I did just miss a phone call. I always like to keep my phone available because I do have an 8-year-old in school. And, you know, you never know when you might get a phone call from the school. So hold on one moment. Okay, so I'll leave that there. All right. So we have fire as the lower bagua and mountain as the upper bagua. So let's go ahead and see what messages we have here in our bagua. And of course, my nose is itching once again. Fire, Li, radiance, eminence, innovation, cultivation. My nose is tickling. Giving light, illumination, perspicacity. I think I finally got that one right. Perspicacity, clarity, rapid movement, the sun, clinging, dependent, intellect, logic. Wu Jing, fire, direction, south, season, cardinal summer, autumn equinox. Life aspect is ambition, honor, fame, reputation. It's related to the eyes, the small intestines, the cardiovascular system, autoimmune, metabolic. Heart chakra, animal, phoenix. I'm going to have to look up pheasant and see what the symbolism is for the pheasant. I mean, phoenix, it sounds a little bit more romantic. So I lean towards the phoenix, rising from the flames, from the ashes. The archetype, the general, the minister. And the immortal is, what does that say? Lu Dong Bin, patron of scholars, literati, healers, high magic. Okay, and then we have, so we had fire, and then we had mountain. Just check and see if there was, okay, so there's no voicemail, so obviously it was not the school. Mountain. Also, I like that image as well. And my glasses are smudgy. I need an assistant. Who's going to come and be my assistant? Clean my glasses. Okay, Gin, mountain. Keeping still. Preserving energy through stability. Resting. Respite. Completion. Discipline. Resting state. Rumination. Meditation. Cultivation. Earth. So we have fire and we have earth element. Direction northeast, spring equinox, cardinal summer, life aspect, knowledge, education, skills, wisdom, and it's related to the hands, joint, skull, neck, upper back, shoulders, tumors, circulation, blockages. Okay, root chakra. So we have the heart chakra. We have the heart chakra and the root chakra. Animal, wolf. The scholar or the artist is the archetype. The immortal is Yang Guao Lao, patron of occultists, alchemists, necromancers, and healers. All right. Trying to, I know I had a cleaning cloth somewhere. As these glasses are screaming, oh, I am. Okay, there we go. That's gonna have to do. That's gonna have to do. Okay, so let's get back to number 22. A great fire illuminates the majestic mountain. You handle ordinary affairs with clarity, precision, and grace. Your public image now suffices for the small undertakings, but the large undertakings will exceed your beauty and grace. If you are content with small gains, then continue in present luminosity. Otherwise, abandon the comforts of the carriage and walk dauntlessly as a humble apprentice. Do you yearn for more than the comforts you possess? So there you go. That's B.MSc Wynn's interpretation of this. And I can see in there, for instance, where she says, if you are content with small gains, then continue in present luminosity. How do you cause your fire to shine brighter? You know, I feel it's when you let go. When you let go of those emotions that you keep attempting to suppress, when you let go of trying to keep your shadow side buried and only trying to present to the public this perfect little angelic face, you know, where everything is perfect and everything is prim and proper in its perfect place, and that shadow part of you is compartmentalized and hidden away. But sometimes allowing that shadow side to come out and facing it and accepting that it is part of you, that anger, that frustration, and even that hatred is part of you, then you're able to move through it, and your light is able to shine brighter, and you're able to claim a little bit more grace. All right. So we're going to move from B.MSc Wynn's, and we're going to go to Professor Hong and see what his literal translation is. And then from there, we will move to Brian Brown Walker. Okay, so Professor Hong, as you know, is the late Dr. Hong. He was a physics professor at MIT many years ago. He calls this hexagram decoration. Interesting. Sign of the sacrifice, somewhat auspicious to go somewhere. Okay. Decorating the foot, leaving the carriage to walk. Decorating the beard. Luxuriant beard. Let's see. Is that coming in focus? There we go. Luxuriant beard with dew besmeared. Good omen everlasting. I'm sorry, that word besmeared. Okay. I just imagine some dude with a beard and having a milkshake and having a little bit of the milkshake besmeared on his beard. Okay, ignore me. Okay, mottled white, horses bright. They're not robbers, only wife grabbers. The garden is all decked out, no presents to speak about. Awkward, but all ends well. Decorating on white, faultless. And it says, see note on hexagram number 3. And that's where he says, mottled white, horses bright. They're not robbers, only wife grabbers. So I just want to take a quick peek over. Actually, it opened right up to the page and I skipped it. Take a peek over to hexagram number 3 to see what he says. Okay, entrenchment. This alludes to a marriage custom in which the groom's party feigns an abduction of the bride. Oh, okay. All right. So that is mottled white horses bright. They're not robbers, only wife grabbers. So when the groomsmen come to grab the wife to be, that's what they're mentioning. I remember seeing a documentary and learning about that. Okay. So there you go. That is Hong's. And then we will end with, whoops, that's the wrong one. Brian Brown Walker. Book of Changes, number 22. Pi or P, grace. Okay. Look inside the strength of simplicity and self-knowledge. Outside, the beauty of acceptance and gentleness. This hexagram encourages you to cultivate a quality of grace in your relationships and in your general way of being. In this way, you gain a power greater than any other to open a way through obstructions in your dealings with others. Good fortune is yours if you concentrate on bringing more grace to your thoughts and actions now. It is human nature to want to use forceful ways to try to get what we want from others and from life. Our egos encourage us to act aggressively, to speak boldly, to intimidate others, to buffalo our way through circumstances, through difficult situations. This false power can be momentarily satisfying to our ego, and temporary victories can be won in this way. But genuine power and lasting progress comes from a different kind of strength altogether. They come from inner strength, which is characterized by a steadfast devotion to the principles of humility, simplicity, equanimity, and acceptance. By gradually letting go of vain, bullying energy of the ego and accepting the quiet guidance of the higher power, one acquires the substance that makes ongoing good fortune a possibility. This is a time to relinquish self-important maneuvering. Instead, return to stillness and contemplate the inherent wisdom of the principles of the sage. By practicing quiet strength within and gentle acceptance without, you acquire a grace that dissolves barriers to progress. And as I was reading that last paragraph there, relinquish self-important maneuverings, and if we can relate it to the story earlier, the graciousness card from, oh my gosh, what was the name of the deck? The 64 Faces of Awakening. Self-important maneuvering, burying our emotions, not willing to face ourselves, putting on a false face in front of other people, but inside we're boiling, we're tortured, and we're burying those emotions because we want to look proper, we want to look good, we want to, keep it light and airy, but we're not willing to face ourselves. So when we return to a stillness and contemplate, face our emotions and accept them, there is an inherent wisdom within that. When we're willing to face our shadow, face our emotions, face our anger, our hatred, all of that is healing. By practicing quiet strength within and gentle acceptance without. And I would say even a gentle acceptance within ourselves, because once we're willing to face those emotions, we're able to accept ourselves. And when we're able to accept ourselves, we're able to accept, be more accepting and gracious towards other people. That time when I was going through a very difficult time in my life, I call it the dark night of the soul. One of the things that helped to get me through and to completely not burn up with anger and hatred towards other was to realize my own shortcomings, to face my own emotions, And through doing that and having that inward humility towards myself, I was able to be more gracious and accepting towards the person in the situation. And that doesn't mean that I didn't do what I needed to do to protect myself. I did, but facing those emotions and realizing that in any given moment, there I could be as well. We have been everything. We have been mother, father, son, daughter. We've been victim, we've been victor. We've been all of it, all of it. So anyway, I'm going to keep this short right here. And hopefully later this evening, where's the book? Later this evening, we should be able to get back to our reading. Here, I'll put it down here. Seeking the Spirit of the Book of Change. 8 Days to Mastering a Shamanic Yi Jing Prediction System. And let's see, where did we leave off the last time? Right, so when we get back together later, we will be on Hetu and Lao Shu, the patterns of the universe. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. We did that one. I think we will be on river pattern. Yeah, we'll be on river pattern. What's that? We'll be on something. We'll be on something, and I'll figure it out. Thank you very much, Sarmad. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to have to get going. I have like this super busy day today, and feeling good. Feeling good. And I hope you guys are feeling good as well, that your spirit is rejuvenated. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to do a show this morning. Last night, my life meter was like, sore throat and all of that, but I used Golden Seal, colloidal silver spray, Golden Seal, the back of my throat, and zinc, and my California poppy and blue vervain tea before bed last night. And I was good to go this morning. So I am happy to be here with you guys. Oh, thank you, Compassionate Roots. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will stop talking here because my father told me that I was talking before I even came out of my mother. And I could go on and on. Sometimes I can be really quiet and not say anything, but I could go on and on. But I want to let you guys go. Yes, I do need to do I was thinking, wow, I haven't done my neti pot in a while. So I need to thank you, CB. As it goes, CB, us mothers, we take care of everyone else. And then who takes care of us? We'll be on our deathbed, and then we need another mother's voice to come to us and say, go do this. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I would tell someone else to do. But then as a mother, when you're kind of feeling low yourself, you're kind of like, someone come help me, tell me what I need to do. Anyway, much love. So let's go ahead and get the bell. So I thank all of you guys for being here. I'm Tamu Engina, Priestess Heart. Let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and all those who have come before us. I wish you peace and great bliss. Much love. Until next time, keep going.